the next module where um, here you will be checking about how to view the 3D objects, how to view the 3D objects, and how do you classify them? Like you know that in 3D objects, some part of the screen will like some part of the object will be hidden, some part of the object will be visible. So here we will see how we are going to capture those 3D objects, how we are going to represent them, or how we are going to model them. So this entire module, it will talk about how do you view the 3D objects, how do you model them. So we have some methodologies using which we'll be identifying whether the surface is visible or not, like that. So entire thing here, it is like projections. Here we'll take a 3D object and we will make some projections. It can be like orthogonal projection or it can be like parallel projection, and based on that projection we are going to model the 3D object. So you would have some idea will be there in when you have implemented the CAD uh, like in the CAD lab, you would have implemented the solids, right? In that solid also, when you're writing something, when you're drawing some tetrahedron or like those solid images, so some part of the lines will be invisible, like hidden, not invisible, hidden. So you were representing those lines by dashed. Like you were not giving the solid line to indicate that it is an hidden surface or it is an hidden line. You're giving some dashed line, the same thing. So here also, um, what we are going to study in this module means we are going to check the viewing concepts that are there. So we have some methods, some two methods, like how to view the 3D objects. After that, some transformations, the same thing. So in the module 3 also, in the module 2 also, we have studied about 2D viewing and 2D viewing pipeline. So here also the same thing. How do you transform the 3D images from the world coordinate system to the output devices? The same way there we had studied the transformation from um, world coordinate system to the output device for 2D coordinate system. So here we are talking about with respect to the 3D devices. Then we will talk about the projections. One will be the orthogonal projection, then the perspective projection, then the viewport transformation, and the screen coordinates for the 3D thing. And what is the support? What is the support that is given by OpenGL for this 3D viewing? And see, whenever we are going to talk about these 3D images, one parameter is the depth. Also, we'll be talking about the depth also. So we will study about the methods regarding to the like we have one method called depth buffer method, and how do we classify the visible surfaces, and how do we have an algorithm for this visible surface detection. So all these things we will study in this module. So once this module is done, in the next module, so we will be interacting with this objects, we'll be interacting with the 3D objects through the input devices like keyboard and mouse. So that will be the next thing. So this entire module focuses on how do you view, how do you project the 3D objects, how do you project the 3D objects. So this is regarding um, some overview about this module. So what is the first thing? So first thing will be like some introduction to um, 3D viewing. So first thing is we are going to talk about this 3D viewing concept. So what we did, see, for two-dimensional graphic applications, um, for 2D applications, we had some five ways, like we had some 5 steps where we were transforming from the world coordinate system to the output devices. So for 2D graphical applications, so the viewing operation was like we were transferring the position from one coordinate system, that is from the world coordinate system, that is a world coordinate plane, to pixel positions in the output devices. So if you just go through the first module, you can see some 5 steps will be there, where we would have written it like xw, yw, so that represents the representation of a point in that world coordinate system. Then we'll talk about the viewing coordinate system, then the normalization. Once the normalization is done, then we'll be projecting to the output devices. So for a two-dimensional graphical application, um, the process of viewing was like we were transferring the position from the world coordinate system, to some output devices. So there we were using the rectangular boundary. The display window was in the rectangular shape. Um, so that we called it as the clipping window, and also we used the viewports, and we used the viewport. So what support we got is the two-dimensional package was clipping a scene, and it was mapping that to the device coordinate. It was clipping a scene, and it was mapping that to the device coordinates. But now that was regarding the two-dimension thing. So now we are talking about the three-dimension viewing. So here what we are doing means, here we have more choices because of the addition of this Z parameter. So here the viewing operation for this 3D objects are more involved. So we have multiple choices. We have multiple choices in which how we can construct a scene, and also how we can generate the views of the scene on the output devices. So for example, see, it's like taking an image of an object from the camera. See, the nature of the image taken depends on the position of the camera, the orientation, or the from the side which you're taking the image. So all these things matter. So this 3D viewing is like it is almost similar to taking an image of an object like that. So here we have multiple choices. We have multiple choices um, in which how we can construct the scene. For example, so in cinematography and all, you see, if they're shooting for a particular scene, they would have captured the same scene from different camera perspective. So they would have constructed the same scene from different angles. Like some shots will be from the front side of the object, some will be from the rear side of the object, some from the side of the object, and from the top view also. So like that. So they are once again, what they are doing means the same thing, the same object. They are trying to capture. They are trying to construct the scene from different phases, and they are generating they are generating that scene on the output devices. So this is also, we have more choices when we are talking about the 3D viewing. So when we model a three-dimension scene, each object in the scene is defined with the set of surfaces that form the closed boundary around the object. So um, what it means, so you are if you are modeling a 3D scene means, every object, see, the objects that are there in the scene will be associated with the surface that will form the closed boundary around that object. See, for some applications, you should also specify the information about the interior structure of the object also, and also you should give information about the surface feature of the object also. So that is how the 3D viewing take place. So when you're modeling a three-dimensional scene, each object in the scene will be typically defined with the set of the surfaces that form the closed boundary around the object. It will form the closed boundary around the object. So, and for some applications, you also need to specify the interior structure of the object also. For some thing, you should specify the interior structure of the object also. So so this is one thing. So also in few scenarios, in few cases, um, you should also provide, in few situations you should also provide some process for displaying the internal components or cross-sectional view of the objects. So like this. So one thing is, here we are modeling a 3D scene of an object with the set of surfaces which are forming the closed boundary around the object. And mm, and some applications we need to specify the information about the internal structure of the object. So and in some applications, we should provide a process for displaying the internal structure of the object or the cross-sectional view of the object. So what this viewing function will do means, viewing function processes the object description through the set of procedure which will ultimately project a specified view of an object on the display devices. So all these things should be taken care. One thing is, we should some applications may require to specify the interior structure of the object, and in something we need a process for displaying the internal components or cross-sectional view of the object also. So viewing function, what it should do means, it should describe all these things through a set of functions which will finally project a object. It will specify the object of interest onto the surface of the display devices. So uh, how do we do that? So how do we do that means, like in 3D viewing. So in 3D viewing, you can use the clipping process. You can use the clipping routines which we had used in the two-dimension viewing pipeline. So just like the two-dimensional, just like the 2D clipping which we had used in the 2D pipeline, the same clipping can also be used for 3D viewing also. Um, but one thing to be considered, so you can use the 2D clipping that was there in 2D pipeline for 3D clipping also. But here we have more options. So here we have more options, and also here we have more task. Here we have more task when compared to the two-dimension viewing pipeline. So the task can be like the projection routines, the projection procedures are needed for transferring a scene, um, to the viewing surface. So only what you have to do means, here what extra work should be done means, projection routines are needed, projection functions are needed for transferring the scene to a surface, to a view surface. So when you are doing that, when you are doing this, only the visible part of the scene should be identified. Only visible part of the scene should be projected. And and for that projection to look realistic, for the projection to look or the for that projection or the for the transfer of that scene on the visible planar surface to look realistic, um, what you should do means, lighting effects should be taken into consideration. The lighting effect should be taken into consideration, and also the surface characteristics should also be taken into consideration. So what you can do means, the process that are available in 2D can also be used in 3D viewing also, just like the clipping function. But in addition to that, some extra task needs to be done. So for example, what is the task means, the projection routines are required for transferring the scene to view on the planar surface. So when doing this process, what you should do means, visible part of the surface for this 3D object, the visible part of the surface should be identified, and and to make that object look more realistic, you should consider the lighting effects also. You should consider the lighting effect for making that object look more realistic, and also the surface characteristics should also be taken into consideration, um, and the next thing is, see, to obtain, how do you view a three-dimension scene? So how do you view a three-dimension? See, we have two methods for this. um, there are some methods for this. So this is the first one. The image is the first in the one way of looking into that, and the image which is given in this slide is the second way of looking into that. So um, see, first thing is, to obtain a display of a 3D scene. So first thing is, you should set up the coordinate reference for viewing. So that we will call it as the camera parameter. So that we will call it as a camera parameter. You can see this image. So in order to obtain a display of a 3D object, first what should we do means, first we should set the coordinate reference system for viewing, so which we will call it as the camera parameter. So what this coordinate reference system will do, so this coordinate reference system, or this coordinate references, will give us the position and the orientation. So what these coordinate reference will give us means, it will give us with, or it will define the position and the orientation for this view plane. So you can see the view plane, which is highlighted here. You can see the view plane which is given in the form of a rectangle. So you can see that. So to obtain the display of a 3D dimension word coordinate scene, so first thing is, we should represent the coordinate reference for the viewing, so which we will call it as the camera parameter. So this coordinate reference system, it will define the position and the orientation for the view plane. So then then the object description will be transferred to the viewing reference coordinate. So first thing is, um, the coordinate references will give us the position and the orientation of the view plane. After this, the definitions, the object descriptions are transferred to the viewing coordinate references, and they will be projected to the view plane. So from this, we can generate the view of an object on the output devices in outline form, just like the border thing. And for this, you can apply the lighting effect and the surface or property of that object to get the realistic view of that surfaces. So like this. So first thing is, the coordinate references will give us the position and the orientation for that view plane. Then the object descriptions will be transferred to the viewing reference coordinate, and they will be projected onto the view plane. They will be projected onto the view plane. So then you can generate an object. Then you can generate a view of an object on the output devices in the outline form. After that, you can apply, once the outline form is obtained, you can apply the lighting effects. And surface rendering technique to obtain the realistic shading of that visible surface. This is the process. Um, which can be used for 3D viewing. So this is one method. So this is the one form of constructing and 3D viewing of a an object. So what is the next form? So next form. So this you have some idea. So this you have the idea in CAD also. So in CAD also, so how do you represent? How you were seeing the object? How you were seeing the object means? So there you had two views, I think. One is the front view, and the other one is the top view. Like one, see, when how the object will look when you're looking from the front side by standing in front of that object, and if you're looking that, how the object will look. So first we will construct that, and the other method which you would have followed, like the same object when you're looking from the top, how it will look. So this, like this, you were constructing like this. You were constructing the polygons or the tetrahedrons or the solid images, and then you were drawing some lines, then you were making some projections, then you were projection in the sense you were drawing some lines parallel to each other, and then you were constructing that. No, the same thing, the same concept will is used in this method. So uh, so what is this method? So here we are taking into projection. So mm, so this another way, this is another way. So unlike the camera one which was used in this previous image, so here what we are doing means here we are choosing the another method. We are choosing the another method for uh, making a scene or for projecting a scene onto the viewing plane or viewing devices. So here um, how do we do that? How do we do this? So here what we are doing means here we are using a projection method. So one method for getting the description of the solid object onto the view plane is to project points on the object surface along the parallel lines. So this we will call it as parallel projection. So this you would have implemented in CAD thing. So if you remember the drawings which you were doing on the sheet of paper, said there you would take some reference point, and you would draw the lines parallel to each other, and at some point of time the lines would intersect, and there you would construct some object. So so here what we are doing means here we are using a projection method. So one method for getting the description of a solid object on the view plane is to project points on the object surface along the parallel lines. So this technique is known as parallel projection. So parallel projection. So where it is used means it is used in CAD or in AutoCAD you would have used. In general, this is used in engineering and architectural drawing to represent an object with the set of views that will show the accurate dimension of the object. So usually civil and mechanical engineers would use this often. They would use this often when compared to the computer science. So what is this parallel projection means? Here we are here we are getting the description of an object on the viewing plane by projecting the points on the object surface along parallel lines. So its applications, it is used in engineering applications and architectural drawings for representing an object with a set of views which will give us the accurate dimension, of the object. So this is one thing. Um, so another method. So we have another method. So I told in the introduction itself, we'll be talking about parallel projection, perspective projection. So the second one is perspective projection. So here, what we will do means here we will take a here we will generate a three-dimensional scene from the 3D object by projecting the points on the viewing plane along the converging paths. So this process we will call it as the perspective projection. So what this perspective projection means, here we are constructing a view for the 3D scene, or we are constructing a view of the 3D scene from the 3D object by projecting the points to the view plane along the converging points along the converging points. So this we will call it as the perspective projection. So what this perspective projection will do means it will cause the objects farther from the viewing position to be displayed smaller than the object of the same size that are nearer to the viewing position. Meaning, see, for example, if you stand in front of the aircraft, means the aircraft will be very big in size when compared to so the same aircraft when you're looking in the sky. So when the aircraft is running and you're looking, when the aircraft is in the sky and you're looking from the ground, means that aircraft will look smaller. So this is the perspective. This is the perspective of the viewer. So what this perspective projection will do means this will cause the objects farther from the viewing position to be displayed smaller. So if any object, see for example, that aircraft example is the best one. So if you stand in front of that aircraft, the aircraft will be very, very big. So the same aircraft, if it is flying and you're seeing it from the ground, means that will look smaller. So this you can keep as an example of perspective. What is this perspective projection? So what this will do means the objects that are farther from the that are far away from the viewing position will be displayed smaller when compared to the objects that are of the same size that are nearer to the viewing position. So this is an example. This is the example, or this is the second method. This is the second method of projection. Um, the scenes that are generated by using this perspective projection will appear more realistic. The scenes that are captured, the scenes that are generated by using this second method, they will appear more realistic. They will appear more um, realistic, um, because why? Because see this. Why this will look more realistic? Because so that is how our eye is designed, and that is how the camera lens is designed, because that is how the lens will construct the image, or our eye will construct the image. So that's why the second method will look more realistic, because that is how the camera will form the images, or that is how our eye will form the images. um, so this is regarding the perspective projections. And also the parallel lines along the viewing direction will appear to converge to a distance point in the background, and the objects in the background will always appear smaller than the objects that are there in the foreground. So those objects that are there in the front when compared to the object which are there in the background, so that will appear smaller. So this is regarding the parallel, not the parallel, the perspective projection. So what is that? The parallel lines along the viewing direction will appear to converge to a point in the background, and the objects in the background will appear to be smaller when compared to the objects in the foreground. So the objects that are there in the front will look bigger when compared to the objects that are there in the background. So so if you're looking into the objects, the lines along your view, or along the viewing direction, will appear to converge at some point, at some distance. So this is regarding mm, the parallel projection. um, so the next thing, so this image, you can see this image, you can see this image. So uh, here so when you're so the left hand side one is the original one. The left hand side image is the original one. So when you're trying to view that image from when you're trying to view the image from the top side, you can you can see that you are getting some parallel lines. You're getting some parallel line in the form of some square, some rectangular block. So the first one is the actual image. The first image on the left hand side is the actual one. The first one on the left hand side is the actual one. um, and the next one, and the second image where I've written top, so that is the image which is visible, or that is how you see the image when you're seeing from the top side, when you're seeing from the top side. So when you're viewing from the top side, the object will look like that. So the same image, the same object which is there on the left hand side, when you're seeing from this when you're seeing from the side face, so it will be in the form of L shape. It is in the form of some L shape. So that is your view when you're seeing the image from the left hand side. So in the third image and the third image and the last image where the front is written, so that is the image you will be seeing when you're seeing that image from the front side, when you're seeing the image from the front side. So this is how the projection works. So this some solid image, some solid object, some solid, not image, the some solid object. So you are viewing that solid object from three different directions, from three different directions. So from when you look at the top side, you will get from the top side view, you are getting the image where I've written the top. So when you're looking that object from the sidewise, you are um, getting the shape of and some L-shaped object. So the same image when you're seeing it from the front side, when you're seeing from the front side, um, you're getting the front, you're getting it as some front image. So these are the different the same image when seen from different phases, the same image when you're seeing from um, the different phases. So if you take an example, so if you take an example of a water bottle, so when you're seeing it from the top side, you will just see two circles. The two circles, you can just see the two circles. So when you are seeing it from the front face, you will see it in the form of a cylinder, like that. So like that. So you can the same thing. So you in CAD applications, you would have a better understanding of this concept. So the line also. So the line also, if it is if it is parallel, if the line is if you're drawing a vertical line, so the line, when you look it from the top, it will look like a dot. From the front, it will look like a line. The same concept, it is being extended for 3D thing. So this is regarding the projection. So what is another method? So um, we have another method called depth queuing. So what is this means? So here, uh, when we talk about the 3D characteristics or 3D objects, so one factor which will come into play is the depth one. So this information about the depth is very important when we're constructing a 3D scene, so that using this depth information, we can easily identify whether the object, which is the front end of the object and which is the back end of the object. So for that, the depth information is important. When we construct a 3D scene, so we can use this depth parameter for easily identifying um, which is the which is the front side of the display object and which is the back side of the display object when you're seeing from a particular angle. So we are viewing from a particular direction, so you can check which is the front end of the object and which is the back end of the object. So the example for an example for this can be like, you can take an example of a pyramid. So you can take an example of a pyramid. So using that, so using so if so that by knowing the depth information, so you can easily identify uh, the front side and the right side of the pyramid. Otherwise, it will look confusing. Um, so that is the usage of this depth queuing. Uh, so um, so how it is employed in computer graphics means. So um, see here, when how we use depth queuing in computer graphics means, when we are projecting a device, when we are projecting an object, so what we will do means, we will vary the brightness of the line segments according to the distance from the viewing direction. So for example, For example, you can see this image. You can see this image. If someone is viewing this image from the top right side, if someone is viewing the image from the top right side, uh, so the intensity will be more. The intensity will be more at that small part. So the intensity will be more near the objects, and the intensity will gradually reduce as it moves towards the center of this object. So so that is how this will be used in computer graphics. So here what we will do means, we will vary the intensity, we will vary the intensity of the line segments based on the distances, based on the distances from the viewing position. So so this is the example. So if I'm trying to view this image from the top right side, from the top right side, the lines that are closest, the lines which are closest to my viewing position will be having a very high intensity, and the lines which are far away from the viewing position will have lower in intensity, or the intensity will be reduced gradually. So the intensity will be reduced gradually. um, so how it will be done means, it will be like the very far away distance will be chosen with minimum intensity, and the first closest point will be given the maximum intensity, and in between distance will be varied from such that the intensity should vary from maximum to minimum value. So like this over a range of distance, the intensity will be varied. So this is what we will call it as depth queuing. So these are some of the methods. We have some more methods, like how do you identify the visible line surfaces. Then we have surface rendering. So all these things are there. So then this is an introduction. So we just talked about the two things: how it is, how the object will be viewed through the camera, how it is viewed through the projections, and what is this depth queuing. So the remaining we will see in the next classes. The remaining we'll see in the next classes. Um, so any doubts regarding today's class? Any doubts? Any doubts?